Our next guest knows a lot, not only about the military, but the border. Retired General Mick McGuire. He's a former commander of the Arizona National Guard. I want to welcome the General for the first time to the program. General, thank you so much for coming on. How are you today?
Thanks for having me, Dan. I appreciate it. I'm doing great down here just 10 miles from the border, and I can't believe the lead-in segment. It is easier right now from within 10 miles of where I'm sitting to cross the border illegally than it is for you and I, Dan, to go get lunch in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
This administration is neither serious about border security or public health. You can't have a debate with people that aren't serious about any issue.
Yeah, and here's what I don't get, General, and I asked this of a lot of guests, because after we had our interview with President Trump a few weeks back, and he said total incompetence is what he blames everything on with the Biden regime, I said, but Mr. President, and I say it to other guests, I'm like, but is it true just incompetence and stupidity? Because I know there's a lot of that going around in D.C., not just from this regime, but a lot of people. Or is it covering things up? Because it doesn't make any sense. You're going to put all these lockdowns in place and make Americans follow these rules, or other folks from other nations that want to maybe come in and do commerce or vacation here in our country, and they can't do so now because of COVID and the new strain, while we know for a fact, and this is all we've caught, right? And you'll give me the numbers, General. We know like 1.7 million have tried to come into the country illegally. How many have we missed? And we know 20-30% have COVID. And they're not getting tested at the border. So if you're so damn worried about COVID and you're making all these restrictions on the American people and other law-abiding citizens from other nations who want to come in, why aren't you doing it at the border? That can't just be incompetence.
Oh, yeah, it is. The Democrats are for open borders. The radical left has totally taken over the party. I say this isn't right versus left. This is right versus wrong. There is no rule of law. They're completely open borders advocates now on the left. And we're seeing in the sector I'm in right now about a 60% apprehension rate. Great work by our law enforcement, but the 40% that's getting through, they're not getting tested.
Right.
They're not getting anything. Yet we're imposing these mandates and restrictions on our own citizens. No one is taking this seriously. And, you know, you also had this discussion about China. I retired as a commanding general of the Guard back in April. You're absolutely right. But Biden is literally posturing about how he's going to stand up to China and Russia. At the same time, we can't stop a group of 17-year-old thugs from raiding San Francisco and Chicago stores.
Yeah.
China and Russia aren't taking us seriously.
Oh, I know. I mean, for 4 years, all they did was complain that the Trump administration was bad for foreign policy and how our allies didn't look up to us anymore because he wasn't respected. What a crock of BS. When you rule from a place of authority and strength like Trump did, who cares if they like you or dislike you? If they fear you, they'll respect you because they won't then try to attack or do anything against us. When they see a weak leader like Biden, where we've got all these problems on the homeland, when he won't go after them on trade, hello, where'd the China trade deal go that they were working out under Trump? Did we just get rid of that? I mean, I'm really, really worried. I mean, we have Ollie North on a lot, General. I know you know him. And he says, look, China's the biggest threat to this nation. And we know, thanks to Hunter's laptop, that Biden's in China's back pocket. So while we have this regime in, we're really weak against China, aren't we?
You bet. And China is clearly our greatest existential threat. But I say all the time, Dan, the greatest threat to the Republic is the Republic. They're launching an information war against us. 90% of the world's fentanyl is crossing the southwest border here in Arizona and then going to all 50 states. And last year we lost 90,000 Americans to overdose. China knows that's being produced. Comes up the west coast of Mexico. That's 750 infantry battalions. Think about that. That's all we'd be talking about if we lost 750 infantry battalions last year.
Oh, man. I always hate being the bearer of bad news to my viewers, General, because I try to find some light at the end of the tunnel. But until and if Republicans keep their word, I like to hold them all to the fire, until the House gets taken back on a federal level, until the presidency is changed in 3 years, I don't see a lot of this stuff changing. I know you're trying to make change, and so my last question is, talk about the race. You decided to jump into that dirty swamp of politics.
Yeah, you bet. I'm jumping in this race to be the 51st vote in the U.S. Senate. We have got to take control of the Senate, stop the radical left, block everything they're going to do. People ask me what we're going to do. We're going to do one thing. We're going to get funding for the wall because it is the priority requirement for this country to secure its borders and have a sovereign nation. No border, no country. You got to build the wall, surveil it, and enforce it. That's why everybody needs to go to electmick.com so we can wrestle back control, stop the radical left, hold the beach until 2024, and take back the White House.
Yeah, that's the plan. And then, General, and by your years of service, I will kind of throw it out there that I'm going to have faith and believe that you will hold that line. Then we got to make sure that the Republican Party doesn't get weak, doesn't get limp, doesn't cater down to any of those Democrats they're old buddies with and chums in the Senate, and they do what they promised to do and keep America first policies, put them back into place, and get things back on track. And I hope you'll do the same if you win your race for U.S. Senate. General Mick McGuire, thank you so much for coming on the program. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Dan. God bless you, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone.